It's Tim with TAH Farm. We're going to work on the 6600 again today. Got another repair. We're going to continue on with the auger. The gearbox is done. That was the last video. Now we're going to work on getting this auger removed. Got some tips and tricks. So stay tuned.
Well, I almost wonder if it's supposed to be like that. The other one's not that way. I'm not sure. Let's go tear that apart on the other end there. I know I need a new auger on this thing, so let's see what an auger is going to run. All right, we're out here by the parts combine. The problem with this parts combine is it sat in a fence row for 10 years and all the leaves and stuff has fallen down, collected in here. As a result, I spun that and you can see it's all rotted the edge of that auger off. So we're not even going to bother trying to pull this one out of there. But you can see that's a little more squared up, so it should be squared. That was worn a little bit, but anyway, we're going to see if we can't find a used one or a new one and see what we can come up with. We'll be right back. All right, it took some doing, but we found the parts. Bryant, Indiana's got a combine graveyard, and they've got a used auger we're on our way over to look at. And the other parts I got ordered from John Deere. They just called a little bit ago and said they're in, so we're off to pick them up too. We'll be right back. All right, we're on this side of the combine here. I've already pulled this off. It's pretty straightforward. Two set screws on it. It's actually just bolts. Pulled that off. But let me get this light here where we can see. Had to loosen this up so I could get this to come back. So I get this chain loose. And then back there to the back, right there's a block. I had to loosen that block up. So I get this chain. This chain runs the auxiliary augers that run down to the main auger. And that main auger is right here. So that's the shaft, or the sprocket I took off already. It goes there. And I sprayed some Corolla oil on there. We're going to spray some more, see if we can get that locking collar off. And then there is a ball bearing that's in there too. So we got to see if we can get all that out of there. So we'll be right back. Well, boys and girls, we got it out. Let's start with, you got to pull this skirt off so this will tip up, and you kink it all to pieces. That's a great idea, John Deere. So you get a hammer and beat the living fire out of that, and it takes way more heat, way more heat than I ever imagined. But here you go. You can see we got her started out. Obviously, I don't have enough room in the barn here, so we'll have to get it pulled out of the barn. But this has been 4 days of beating, heating. My son's been here, and it just took persuasion. Now I got to get that bearing out of there. It spins out, but I don't know what the... There's a little spot right there that allows that to slide out of there. Huh. That's pretty cool. All right, well, there's getting that out of there. It's out. This project has turned into a nightmare. I'll show you why here in a second. We'll be right back. All right, here's where we are here. This is the end of the auger. It spins out. Right here's the end of it, and I had no idea it was this bad. I knew there was a patch in there, but it had been painted, so it was kind of covered up. But that's okay. We know it's here. I've got a piece of stainless I'm getting made to go in here. We'll bolt it down to the auger hydraulic piece that mounts under here. I'll show that here. Yeah, that's what that looks like right there. That auger's right there. We'll attach that with these bolts. But anyway, we're going to get that steel in here, and it's getting rolled to fit in here. But there's a company called Polyskid that makes a universal liner that goes in here. We're going to put that in. That'll be a separate video. But the auger's got to be in to put that in. So we're going to get this painted. I've just coated it with the rust cutter. There's a video on that. You guys can find that video if you want to see how that works. But we got it clean, prepped, rust cutted. We're going to paint this, put the auger in, and then we'll be back. All right, I just used regular plumber's sandpaper, and we're going to clean the end of that up. Just get it cleaned up, and then we'll see if the other bearing will slide on there. Because once we get it in there, it's got to slide together. So just hang tight. Oh yeah. All right, well, it'll slide on good once it's centered up. So we'll be back. All right, I got this off the combine. I wanted to clean it up, paint it, and I painted the bottom of the tank there. I'll show you that here in a minute. But this bearing swivels in here. Now the new one fits tight. This old one swiveled around in there, and what was giving me the problem was it was a little bit crooked, and that would not slide out. With it being straight, it should slide in. So we're going to test fit this before we put it all back together. All right, we got it test fitted, and I got it looks pretty squared up, because if that's not straight, this sliding in, it's not going to slide on right. So we'll get this all together here in a little bit. We'll be right back. All right, we're going to slip this bracket back in and get this mounted back together here, so just bear with us. All right, let's see if we can get that slid down in there. I meant to talk about this earlier. This little piece here goes into that shaft. I'll show you in a second. Not available anymore. It calls it a bushing. It's not a bushing. It's just a spacer that goes against the bearing on that. Here, get you in a shot. It goes against the bearing in there, and then it goes against this outside edge of the auger, and that spins so it doesn't rub on this. So that's all that is. Like I said, it's not available anymore, but that goes on here first. So let's get that on here and get that end plate on. This could prove to be a little on the interesting side. Just like that. Downtown. Okay. We're going to call it good on here because I'm going to have to have my son come over, and he can't come over for a couple days. But we got to put these bolts in here. But you can see I got that lined up enough. I can slide that. So we're good to go right there. I can slide it. And we'll get that slid on right, get this bolted up right. Bolt's got to come from the outside this way, and the nuts and washer on this side. The only other thing we got to do is we got to put that bearing collar on here. And I got to clean it up yet. Here, let me show you. I got to clean this up yet. It won't take much, but want to knock all the dust and crud off of it. And that slides on there. And this project will be done. So this has been a royal pain, but I'll show you how the liner works here in a little bit. That'll be the next video. So, hey, we're getting it done. But we're gonna call it good right now on this auger replacement. A little bit of what's involved. Hopefully you know the trick of getting that bearing out of there is getting it lined up just right. I think if I'd have taken them bolts off and slid that bracket out, we'd have been in a home run. Learn from your mistakes. I don't know, it might not have worked, but that could be a good advice if you got to pull that off. But anyway, we're going to call it good here. Thanks for watching this video on the auger. Hopefully shortly you'll have the liner putting in and that all works. So the old girl's going to run here shortly. Stay tuned.